Astros manager Joe Espada got a little snippy yesterday with the liberal media. Is he starting to feel the heat in this AL West race? I also get the sense that Astros fans are pissed about last night's dub. Meanwhile, Texans fans are down bad right now. Are things really as hopeless as they seem? We'll go through all the common complaints out there. And there's a new form of derangement syndrome on the streets. It's one that's actually, though, been going on a lot longer than you'd think. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast. Let's go.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
Are you kidding me? Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. It is Wednesday, September 17th, Hope Day, live on YouTube at Paul Gallant. If you're watching this video, please like it and subscribe. Don't ask any questions. Don't even watch. Just do it. Do it. It's on Twitch too, at Gallant Says, on X and Twitter at Gallant Says, on Instagram at Sports Gallant, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. You can join this show live Monday through Friday at noon Central Time until a time to be determined, and occasionally late at night after major Houston sporting events. It's also available after the fact wherever you get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify. What I have been doing the last couple of days is posting segments from the show. I think for at least the foreseeable future, until I can figure out the structure of what we're going to be doing, I am going to just post the entire thing going forward. Yeah, you might end up hearing me ramble a little bit more and interacting with the Twitch and the comments sections on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook on X a lot more. But I will eventually get to your comments. Let's read a few before we dive into our opening segment. Tony the Handsome says, oi, oi. Baller, Footballer 503 says, sup, Paul? What's up, Footballer 503? Rad Rotten Face on the gram says, why did you get canned? Miss you, Paulie. Budget cuts, man. Who would have thought they'd come to radio? S. Paul on X says, hashtag DeMeco out. We will get to that a little bit later. Footballer 503 is asking, hey, why are so many people leaving where I used to work? Budget. Their loss. Big Paul Squad said I accidentally said the word twat. Well, guess what, guys? We're wild on this show. I can say that and not face repercussions from the FCC, even if I said it accidentally. What's up, Rig Hagwood? Let's get into it. So we already know that with Yordan Alvarez, if you watched the injury that he suffered in Monday night's Astros-Rangers game, that he's definitely going to miss some time. Per Bob Nightingale, the Astros expect Alvarez to miss the remainder of the regular season due to his severe left ankle sprain. They're hopeful that he can return for the postseason, but for now, they are not putting him on the injured list, which is pretty interesting, right? I mean, you could choose another player right now, bring somebody up from the minors. Maybe it's a bat, maybe it's an arm, but the Astros aren't going to do that. And Astros manager Joe Espada, when asked about doing that, got a little bit annoyed with one specific favorite of this show. I'm going to allow you to watch for yourself with this video courtesy of Sports Talk 790.
Okay. He's got a pretty significant ankle sprain, so this is going to keep him out for a while. Let's not get into days, weeks, any of that. We are going to take one day at a time, but this is going to take some time to heal. We don't have that many days left on the regular season, so we are going to. He's in there getting some treatment, getting some work done. So, hopefully, he's not out for a long period of time.
Pause for a moment. I've said this multiple times this season. It's bullshit that Joe keeps on having to answer questions about Yordan Alvarez's health and his status going forward. It's bullshit. Baseball's collective bargaining agreement does not require players to, medical staffs to meet with the media. There are a few exceptions to this rule. Amazingly, the Athletics are one of them, the homeless A's. But for whatever reason, the guys who actually know what they're talking about when it comes to injury, you would think, don't actually talk on it. So it's left to Dana Brown and Joe Espada to talk about the diagnosis that the training or medical staff are giving them. And get this, neither of them are orthopedic surgeons. They're not even those obnoxious online sports doc accounts that recklessly speculate all the time. They are forced to do a job relaying information to the media and to the fans about stuff that they can't possibly know that much about. Do you think that Joe Espada and Dana Brown are looking at MRIs or X-rays or anything like that? So when the Astros training and medical staff gives them bullshit information, like last year when the training and medical staff thought that Kyle Tucker was dealing with a deep bone bruise, but per Tucker it was a fracture, or earlier this year they thought Yordan Alvarez was dealing with a muscle strain in his hand that turned out to be a fracture. These guys are the ones that end up looking bad while the medical/training staff gets to hide in the shadows while being bad at their jobs. I feel for Joe Espada on that front. I think you should as well. It is not his fault. It is not Dana's fault. And the two of them, considering all the injuries the Astros have overcome to be in this point to win the American League West at the end of the year, are doing a good job. I'll be honest, I'm getting a little annoyed with all the fire Espada, fire Dana Brown comments that are being made out there. I have no idea how the Astros are where they are. It's why one of the running themes of the radio show when I was doing it was, God wills it! For those who do not understand the reference, let me clue you in. For whatever reason, I am a big fan of the movie Kingdom of Heaven. It is a Ridley Scott movie. It didn't do very well. A lot of people thought it wasn't good, but if you watch the director's cut edition of it, it's fantastic. There's this one guy who steals the show, even though maybe over the course of the movie, he has less than 12 seconds of dialogue. Shout out to whoever this actor is. We might need to have him on the show at some point, but let's hear our favorite person in that movie and the prophet for the 2025 Houston Astros.
God wills it! God wills it! God wills it!
God wills it! Hopefully we don't get a copyright strike for that. Yesterday I got a copyright strike because some Luke Bryan music or Zach Bryan or some other fucking country band was playing in the background, so I had to edit out 9 seconds of the podcast. Unbelievable. Anyway, they keep on winning. They are still within striking distance of an American League West title. If you listen to the show earlier this week, I said they're going to need to win 5 of 6 on the homestand they're on. They've won the first 2, so now they got to win 3 of the next 4. One more against Texas. You could potentially knock them out for good with a win. And then you got 3 against the Mariners at Dyken Park. You win 5 of 6. I feel pretty good about their chances, given who they play after that, the A's and the Angels. But we will, of course, see. More from Joe Espada, who should not be answering questions about injuries, trying to explain how the Astros plan to manage the roster. This video, again, courtesy of 790.
I imagine he's just disappointed at him at any time at this point.
Yeah, we need him in there, right? But those are the things that we can't control. It's a freak accident, happens on a baseball field, but but that's not what we need right now. But we do have guys here that understand the situation that we're in. We got talent. We got guys that want it. We got guys that can fight and get us through this stretch. And I expect those guys to do just that.
If you watch the injury of Yordan, by the way, you would notice that his spike essentially skates on home plate. Random thought. Why is baseball's home plate made of a different material than any of the bases? First base, second base, third base, they are bolted in, right? So you got a dirt field, you got a dirt infield, you got grass, you got a warning track. If you're wearing spikes, there's some give while you're wearing those. But home plate, which you have to step on, is something that essentially makes your spikes turn into skates. Fucking stupid, no? Am I crazy here? I mean, I'm a baseball casual. But, hell, if home plate was elevated a little bit more, you wouldn't be able to, I guess, kick as much dirt over the top of it. I don't know. Listen, I'm spitballing here, but how the fuck is home plate the one thing where if you step on it, you could potentially skate and twist your ankle? Or if a ball hits it, it could theoretically ricochet and go into outer space, but there's nowhere else in the field where that happens. Are we cool with that? Anyway, just a random question to ask. More from Joe Espada talking about Yordan Alvarez. Here's where things get interesting.
So are you guys going to put him on the IL?
Did you just hear what I said? That this is going to take some time.
I know, but I'm wondering for your roster. Are you going to play man short?
Listen, one day at a time, Chandler. Okay? I'm not going to give you days, weeks, what we're going to do next. You're just going to have to sit down and wait, okay?
Joe, and your...
Little testy there with Chandler Rome, who is a friend of this program, one of many people who have been so cool to me after I got laid off. He actually reached out to me. Javier Betancourt says Chandler Rome got the reverse card on him yesterday. I think some of the reaction to this made it seem like this exchange was worse than it actually was. I get just saying what I had said a little bit ago, why Spot is sick of talking about the injury. I do think it's a fair question to ask about operating without a player. But I think Joe's just sick and tired of answering these questions that he shouldn't have to answer. I think Chandler and Joe have actually a pretty good relationship. I don't think this is Joe putting Chandler in his place like some people are framing it as. No, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's him annoyed that he keeps on having to answer questions about injuries. You would be too if you're constantly the one that's at the podium for a medical staff or training staff or whoever it is that has been so off on so many diagnoses, you know? Anyway, that was the moment everyone was talking about with Joe Espada. And I think that he's more annoyed that he's constantly facing this question than he is potentially feeling the heat, as some are suggesting. But I did find this noteworthy, and I know a lot of people are going to be annoyed by me putting this up here. But somehow, some way, Michael Schwab and an Astros fan account by Ben on the Top have been right on a lot of things over a period of time with the Astros. They clearly know somebody with the Astros, even if they aren't maybe as professional with the way they go about their reporting as Brian McTaggart, as Chandler Rome, as some of the others. I will say that, yes, on one hand, if you're constantly throwing out rumors all the time and they don't actually come to fruition, maybe dial it back. Are you a fan account or are you a reporter? I would also say on the reporter side of things, I saw this from Mark Berman. I would say, hey, listen, this is the game now. This is who you're competing with. You know, access is being more and more limited for you, and people like this are getting access and they can report things too. I can understand being frustrated when you're the credentialed reporter and then somebody else is getting this scoop that's totally different than you and it ends up being right, and it might not be sourced correctly and they might not be getting to and double, crossing the I's and dotting crossing the T's and dotting the I's and all that shit. But this is something, to bring it back to Ben on the Top, that he put out. Joe is on thin ice. You heard it here first. Talking about a game last night that a lot of Astros fans seem to be frustrated about, where the Astros were up, 6-1, 6-0, only for things to get really, really dicey at the end. And it has me wondering how Astros fans are feeling right now. I mean, you're clearly unsatisfied. And I would just go back to taking a look at what this year has been and accepting it. Somehow, some way, it seems like there's a little divine intervention going on over at Daikin Park. And I would just encourage people to take the rest of this season with this approach. It is out of your hands, so leave it up to this person.
God wills it!
God wills it!
God wills it! God wills it!
And if you're not going to go about it that way, if you are going to say, I can't believe we only won 6-5 last night against a team that had been red hot going into this series that's made up a lot of ground in the American League West. I'm too good for that. I have this to say to you. I'm going to quote the same dude from Kingdom of Heaven. You know what he says to people like you?
Blasphemy!
Yeah. One more time?
Blasphemy!
One more time.
Blasphemy!
That's blasphemy. How dare you? How dare you get upset about a dub? Yeah. Brian Abreu, when he's moved from that setup role to the closer role, looks like a totally different pitcher. And that is a thing with baseball pitchers for whatever reason. Sometimes you move a closer into non-save situations and they completely change. Whether it was Ryan Presley being moved to being a setup man, though I think that might be more due to his deteriorating skill, or it's Ken Giles whenever he was brought into a game where it was tied. Then he started punching himself in the face that one time. You know, for whatever reason, psychology changes for pitchers based off of when they're being thrown into a specific role. I'm a little concerned about Brian Abreu, but I'm still happy about the win. I'm not complaining, bitching, and moaning. They've won 2 on this homestand. If they win 5, I consider it a success. If they win 4, I'll be a little frustrated with it. The Mariners might continue to build a little more ground on them in the AL West. But I think there's a lot of people that are getting a little bit too entitled. And it's surprising how entitled people are, just given the way that this season has been. So, 1, I'm not a fan of all this blasphemy out there.
Blasphemy!
2, if you are one of those blasphemers, you should be called what you actually are. What was that? Random grunts from Halo 2 talking to the Arbiter? One more time. They are calling you a heretic. And I'm going to bring another Halo 2 reference to the table. Heretics get left behind on the great journey. If you're not believing in this Astros team, that's on you. What's up, Prophet of Truth?
Let him be. The great journey waits for no one, brother. Not even you.
Hell yeah, dude. Halo 2 is such a great game. So there you go. Let's read some comments here talking about the Astros and talking about a little baseball. Some people are saying they like unemployed Paul. They prefer uncensored Paul to radio Paul. Isn't it great when you can talk like you're just sitting and talking about sports with friends? Very refreshing. Yeah, it is. I still feel like I got to put on the broadcaster pizzazz and be the little thespian that I am. some comments about the actual Astros. Javier Bentancur says Brown needed to bring in a pitcher, Dana Brown, either in the offseason, especially at the trade deadline. That series against Seattle is going to be very intense. Yeah, another arm would have helped. They were looking for arms, but it seemed like the price was very expensive. Christian Velez asks, is this Joe Espada or DeMeco Ryans after a one-possession loss on the offensive line? Yeah, they're annoyed with the questions. Javier Bentancur says DeMeco looks really stressed out when they ask about injuries. I don't know if he's stressed out. I think he, too, is annoyed. He would prefer to, as they say in one of my favorite movies, The Departed, the following.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself. My theory on feds is they're like mushrooms. Feed them shit and keep them in the dark.
You know? Feed them shit and keep them in the dark. That's what DeMeco wants to do. Joe Espada, meanwhile, is being kept in the dark by his medical and training staff because he's not a doctor and he's forced to speak for them regularly. I think if you're an Astros fan that's bitching and moaning about a win like last night, you shouldn't be allowed on the great journey. It doesn't stop for anybody, okay? You don't get to enjoy this the way that I've been enjoying it. I've been kicking my feet up and enjoying every single moment that I've watched of it because they are playing with house money at this moment in time. All right, guys. Well, if Astros fans aren't happy, I don't even know how Texans fans are feeling right now. The knives have been out amongst Texans nation. I mean, they've really been out. I'm just going to go through some of the things that have been discussed over the last couple of days when it comes to the Texans' 0-2 start. There were boos at the game Monday night. I didn't go to it. Saw that courtesy of DJ Bien-Aimé. People in the national media are starting to say that they suck. Dave Portnoy officially said that right here. Texans officially suck. You've got people who were the biggest bobos during the offseason. No offense to this guy. He's an aggregator, and I think he's got a valuable role on Texans Twitter. But at Texans Jacob said, DeMeco Ryans is just not a head football coach. He cannot do basic things with clock management. People are already starting to be out on DeMeco Ryans. Last year, I just asked if he'll ever be one of the top coaches ever or one of the top coaches in the NFL, and people were all on my case. Thought I was a racist. CJ Stroud starting to annoy people as well. You see this from the guy on the Pat McAfee show with the mullet. If you missed this, I guess before every single Texans game, CJ Stroud warms up by like dribbling with a basketball and shooting it. It's a little try hard. One more time. And when you're 0-2, it really looks bad. No? So I get why people are starting to turn on CJ Stroud. I think the mullet guy from the Pat McAfee show, Boston Connor, said, I'm a big CJ Stroud guy. This basketball warm-up gimmick sucks. A lot of people are turning on him. The knives are out. People are going back to some of his quarterback takes from the offseason. Here he is ranking his top 5 quarterbacks.
Final 5. I know what I'm doing, dog. Mahomes, Lamar, myself, Dak, Joey B.
He said Joe Burrow there, Tank Dell, Joey B.
No, he didn't really play last year. And then Hurts. Dak, that boy.
It's kind of funny that $1 million worth of game is pushing back on Dak coming off of the historic season that he had in 2023 instead of pushing back on CJ putting himself in the top 5 conversation after 1 year and not putting Josh Allen in and not putting Joe Burrow in. I mean, I get it. He wasn't there, but come on. But if Joe Burrow was out for the year, well, what about Josh Allen? What about him? So people are turning on CJ Stroud. Some are suggesting that he's overrated without Tank Dell. I'm seeing some of the same semi-excuses being made for him on ESPN. But at the very least, they are also lumping him in with the struggles. Mina Kimes said it's an operational issue. The quarterback scheme and the players. Dan Orlovsky, everyone is involved in these struggles. Okay. How do you fix it? Well, it should start with the defense, but the defense seems to be overrated now as well. I enjoyed this funny from Seth Payne talking about their swarm mentality. It's an acronym for special work ethic and relentless mindset. Seth Payne made fun of it, saying, stupid, reckless, ARM tackling. I know that's not how an acronym works. It's still funny. It was kind of amusing to see Seth get into it with this fucking dork. Look at this. So, some of the online nerds that live to argue or pretend that they're smarter than people. I mean, look how long this exchange is going. My God. Seth, you got to bail. Seth, you got to bail. Anyway. Defense is overrated right now. They can't make tackles. The offense stinks. See these stats courtesy of Adam Wexler from 790. Texans offense through 2 games. 28th in yards a game. 15th in yards of play. Well, at least you got that. 32nd on third down. Dead last in points a game and total points. 26th in time of possession. Second most yards lost on sacks. 6 sacks. Incredibly, that's the 8th highest sack total in the league. The offense stinks right now. It's getting called out. The play calling stinks. My old coworkers, Lance Zerline, had this thought. I guess these are some of the learning pains you have when you have a rookie play caller. Just haven't seen Nick Caley dial anything creative in terms of misdirection so far over the first 2 games when it's been needed. Yeah, it's really been needed. But we're not seeing it. Weird play calls on the goal line. You have 2 passes, 3rd down, 4th down. One of them involved a double move for Nico Collins. I saw DeMeco call out Stroud's accuracy on one of them. But, I mean, hey. What are we doing? Not running the football particularly well, that's for sure. People are pissed that the Texans hired yet another first-time offensive coordinator. They're mad that the Texans aren't spamming the plays that work the same way you would in Madden. You have 2 throws to running backs that get you 20 plus, Woody Marks, Nick Chubb on a screen, and you didn't really go back to that. Why not do that all game long until it stops working? Instead, they had Stroud drop back and no one else could get open. The offensive line still stinks. Stroud, per our guy DJ Bieneme, has been pressured on 42% of his dropbacks and sacked 3 times, 6 sacks in 2 games. No bueno. The knives are out for this offense. Why did they keep the offensive line coach, Cole Popovich? Why didn't they get somebody new on that front? You've got them playing favorites. For whatever reason, Dario Gunbowale continues to get on the field, even though, this is from Pat Talks Texans, he had a 1.4 grade in pass protection, 3 pressures on 7 snaps. That's Captain Daria Gunbawale to you. Jesus, that's brutal. And now people are starting to throw things out, and I'm not a big fan of this account, but at least I laughed at this little post. We're getting so down bad that we're talking about bringing back Mike McDaniel, who used to be on the Texans coaching staff, a slightly thicker Mike McDaniel, who probably was drinking a little more at the time. I think he's even admitted to that. Because Mike McDaniel was at one point on the Houston Texans coaching staff. Maybe there's a chance that happens. Maybe DeMeco Ryans brings him in to be the offensive coordinator next offseason if the offense doesn't make any progress this year. Things are really, really bad. Are they going to turn around for an 0-2 team? A team that has the same record as all of the following this season. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs, but we're also talking about all sorts of duds. The Jets, Dolphins, Browns, Titans, the Giants, Bears, Saints, Panthers. I mean, it's a lot of bad. You're one of those teams. And I mean, if there's going to be a team that figures it out, everyone would pick the Chiefs, not you. So, are they going to be able to pull themselves out of this? They have before. 2018, the Texans were 0-2. They made the playoffs. 2023, the Texans were 0-2. They went to Jacksonville. Everything started clicking against the Jaguars. Tank Dell. Maybe this happens this year. Maybe the offense finally gets going. But you got to wonder who the hell it's going to be who unlocks it, seeing as, just going back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, Tank Dell seems to unlock this offense. I took a look at all the teams that started 0-2 over the last 20 years. There were 6 in 2005. How many of them made the playoffs? None. In 2006, there were 4. How many of them made the playoffs? Just 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. In 2007, there were 4. Which one of them made the playoffs? The New York Giants. They went on to win the Super Bowl. In 2008, there were just 2 0-2 teams. How many of them made the playoffs? Just 1, the Chargers. From 2009 through 2013, you had 1 in 2009, 4 in 10, 7 in 11, 6 in 12, and 7 in 13 start off 0-2. None of them made the playoffs, though it is worth mentioning that a lot of those teams stink. Like, without even having to think about it, it's teams like the Raiders, and it's the Jaguars, and it's the Bears, and it's the St. Louis Rams, and it's the Carolina Panthers, and the Detroit Lions, and that was a rough point in time for some other teams as well. That's not that surprising. 2014, just 1 team made the playoffs after that 0-2 start. 8 teams started off 0-2. 2015, just 1 team made it after 7 teams started off 0-2. 2016, 7 teams started 0-2. 2 teams made it. And then, of course, the Texans in 2018. No teams in 19. No teams in 2021. The Dolphins did it in 20. The Bengals in 2022. Texans and Steelers 2023. Ravens, Broncos, Rams last year. It's possible to come back from down 0-2, especially now that there's a 17-game season and that 14 teams instead of 12 teams make the playoffs now. But this is obviously a less than ideal situation. So how down bad are you right now? Let us know. Some comments here on YouTube, on Twitch. Let's get to them. Ian Lindblom says Texans coaching history is weird. We watched Kubiak win a Super Bowl with Sean Payton, with Peyton Manning after firing him, then hire a dude who can't even win as offensive coordinator at Bama. But, I mean, he did win at Penn State in the wake of Penn State having some of the worst sanctions levied against the program for some of the worst things that have ever happened to the college football program. A defensive coordinator who was raping kids. More comments here. BVB09 says the other problem is this team is just boring as hell to watch. Yet for now, when you got the bad offense, it ain't good. Ziplocks37 says on Twitch, it's like a third-year quarterback and a new play caller need time on the field to get it together or something. Some people have no perspective. I agree with that. I think it's going to take the Texans time to get to a point where this offense works. And I do think it's still possible to happen this year. More comments here. Ian Lindblom says that Stroud's having a very Carson Wentz career. Ooh, that's an interesting one. That is a very interesting one. Ian Lindblom also says crazy to think that Tom Brady won with Bill O'Brien's play calling. Well, they didn't win a Super Bowl, and I'll be honest, I remember that was one of my thoughts when the Texans hired Bill O'Brien. I think I did a show the day after the hiring happened with Will Grubb at the time. It was on New Year's Day, and I was like, I wanted Ken Wisenhunt at the time. Now, that wouldn't have gone so well, but I remember being like a little annoyed with the offense of the Patriots under Bill O'Brien. But that's not to say that, you know, I was right. I wasn't. O'Brien was a better hire than Ken Wisenhunt. More comments here on YouTube. Christian Vela says, do you think Nick Caley draws up game plans from ChatGPT? The girlfriend's a big fan of ChatGPT. I've yet to really use it. I think I'm a little intimidated by that. Greg Todd says the Chiefs are 0-2. UTEP says the Texans are just as good as the Chiefs based off a record. That is true. You know? Giovanni Havert says, oi, oi to you as well. All right, guys. It's time for a segment to break things up that I know a lot of people love. Astros GM Dana Brown was on the Astros flagship earlier today. And thanks to the fine work of our friend Dan Matthews, when we were doing the radio show, we would tell you what Dana Brown had to say at every single one of these interviews. So without further ado, are you down with Dana Brown? You down with Dana B?
This ball club's it's too good.
You down with Dana B?
He's pretty much giving me the steering wheel and said, hey, this is your gig.
You down with Dana B?
These guys have been out for so much of the season that it feels like we're acquiring too many players.
I guess we'll see. Are you down with Dana Brown? We're going to give you different music in the background, though. Back by popular demand, one of the all-time iconic sounds in the history of the Paul Gallant Show. It is time for us to bring back an incredible bit of audio that the OGs are really going to appreciate. Some people hate it. Hit it. How are we doing that as far as this? A little too high. That good? Can you still hear me talking? What did Dana Brown have to say on Sports Talk 790 earlier today? God, I missed this trombone. I don't think that guy has any clue about us using this theme song for the background. We'll check after the fact to see how this audio goes. Are you down with Dana Brown? Dana Brown on the Astros lineup. Favorite thing is we're scoring runs. We score 4 or more runs. This team is really good. We score runs, we're going to win ball games. Are you down with Dana Brown? I'm not down with that. Dana, I need 5. Give me 5. Not 4, 5. 4 ain't enough. Not with how the bullpen is currently constructed, with poor Brian Abreu's mental health being challenged as he's thrust into a non-closing role. What else do we have from Dana Brown on the Astros flagship earlier today? Dana Brown on hitters. It's a good time to get hot. We've won 2 of the last series. This is definitely the time where you want to get hot. Win this game, we can put a little bit of distance between us and the Texas Rangers. Well, yeah, that's for sure. You know, you're just doing a little math here. I'm down with Dana Brown saying that. Do the math. Astros are up 4 games on the Rangers. Texas has lost 3 in a row. 1 more dub. And they're 5 games back of you with, 2 weeks to play? But if you don't do so well against the Mariners, who have won their last 10, yikes. They've had an 8-game win streak and a 10-game winning streak over the last 6 weeks. Then we're having a maybe different conversation. Are you down with Dana Brown? Dana on AJ Bois, who last night stepped in and once again had a pretty good game. Number 69 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. 3 innings, 7 strikeouts. Really impressive. Really, really impressive. Here's what Dana Brown had to say. He's got a power arm. We can use him as a starter or reliever. He's not done physically either. This is a guy who really came into his own in 2025. Yeah, you ain't kidding on that one. You can't argue that at all. I've been really impressed by what we've seen from him. He's a big dude, and he's got velocity. More from Dana Brown. Are you down with Dana Brown? Dana on injuries this season. It's very difficult to be that good. Usually when you suffer this many injuries, you're barely in it for the wild card. It's gut-wrenching. We've continued to battle through this. I'm gonna need my friend to step in here for a moment. I'm going to need our favorite man in the entire universe to step in for just a moment.
God wills it! God wills it! God wills it!
I mean, that really resonates, huh? God wills it on top of the Astros trombone. Let's fucking go. More from Dana Brown, courtesy of the Astros flagship. Dana on Yordan. Initial thoughts were, oh my goodness, not again. Yordan is a grinder just to make the attempt to score there. Makes it really tough to watch when your best hitter goes out for maybe a couple of weeks. Got good news on the initial MRI. We'll know more in a couple of days. Well, gave us more than Joe Espada gave us a little bit earlier on, in case you missed that. More. Are you down with Dana Brown Talking Yordan Alvarez, Dana said this on the Astros flagship quote, "Still don't know, but hopeful for the end of the regular season. We don't want to be too quick to put him on the injured list. If he's ready in 8 days, we want to put him out there. If he needs the IL, we will retro it back." Probably the best way to go about it, but it could certainly help to have another guy. Dana was also asked about injured Astros Isaac Paredes and Josh Hader, who some people are hoping will be back. Said Dana about Isaac Paredes, who's been cleared for baseball activities. "I think we're actually talking about Paredes coming back this weekend." I need another horn for that. Hell yeah. There's an outside chance he could be back for Seattle. It'd be at some point this postseason. Alvarez, meanwhile, we're waiting on the swelling. Interesting. Paredes potentially back. I am so down for that, though I don't know long-term how that goes for the Astros. More Dana talking Isaac Paredes. Initially, he'd DH. Can't say he'd DH the whole time. DH and a day off to gradually get him back into this. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't want him in the field at all. So there you go. That is Are You Down with Dana Brown. Some comments here on the Gallant Says podcast, which you can watch along on YouTube. You can watch along on Twitch. And you can watch along on Instagram. And you can watch along on Facebook. Sean Martinez said this: Astros are cooked. Cooked, you say? Cooked? Sir. Sir. How dare you say something such as this? There's only one word I have to describe the words that just came out of your mouth. He said, while slowly filibustering to try and find a specific clip to play at this moment right now.
Blasphemy!
One more time? Didn't quite hear that. What did my dude say?
Blasphemy!
One more time.
Blasphemy!
I don't like that. I don't like your heresy here. Okay? Sean, we're going to need you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. What was that? Random grunts in the hit video game Halo 2, a video game from, I think, like 2005? We don't like that, okay? There is a higher power that is commanding our beloved Houston Astros this season, and you know it. I know it. There's
God wills it! God wills it! God wills it!
God wills it. God is willing this Astros season. So there you go, everybody. There you go. And if you're not on board with us, everybody, you know what that means? It means that we are going to have to
let him
leave you behind. As famously said by a legend in his own right. This prophet, either truth or reconciliation.
Let him be. The great journey waits for no one, brother. Not even you.
So, Sean, we don't want to leave you behind. Get your shit together, okay? Otherwise, we're just going to keep on calling you out for...
Blasphemy!
There we go. Paul, you're using so many drops, and you're filibustering so long to get to those drops. It's kind of bullshit. You're kind of wasting my time. Fine. Whatever. What would you rather have me do? Blind react to Texans head coach DeMeco Ryan's press conference yesterday that he did over Zoom? Of course that's what you want. Let's listen to what DeMeco had to say as we get further and further away from that Texans loss in Monday Night Football.
She reviewed the tape, and some of the players were talking in the locker room about tackling. And obviously, you coach tackling, you have pursuit drills, all those things. What do you do to reinforce when guys that normally make tackles are missing tackles? Thank you.
For us, as we look back at the tape and see, tackling was the key issue for us, and I felt like we tackled really well the first week. It hasn't changed on how you tackle. It always starts with me first and foremost with, hey, one, it's the want to, right? It's putting yourself in position and wanting to get the guy down. You want to get him down bad enough, you'll get him down. Then it comes to technique, like are you wrapping and squeezing and taking the guy down to the ground, or are we just throwing a shoulder out there? And a couple of times that's what happened. We're just throwing a shoulder thinking we're just going to knock a guy down, which is not the case, knowing the type of runner that Bucky Irvin was, really great contact balance. And that's something we talked about all week, how good of a player he was on initial contact and how it would take everyone swarming, wrapping him up to get him down. And we didn't do that. So that led to a lot of plays, especially there late on the drive. Even we're there to tackle Baker Mayfield. Right? We don't make the tackle, all right, and go to the back. We don't make the tackle on the back a couple times, and that gets them further down the field. Right, on that last series is nothing grand that they did. They made plays. We didn't tackle well. We didn't make the plays that we are supposed to make.
Nearly a minute and a half talking about wrapping it up, something my father once told me about. Cougblaze says on the Twitch, DeMeco's more of a plan B guy. But Sean Martinez says the Microsoft Teams Ryan's meeting looks hilarious to me. They do have to wrap up. The tackling was piss poor in that game, considering how much this team talks about swarming. If they're just throwing shoulders at people and not wrapping up, it actually boggles my mind how many people do that. And maybe I'm a little bit full of shit when I'm talking about tackling. I played at the lowest level of high school in Florida, but was third on my team in tackles. I always had to wrap up just based off of my size. There were a couple of times where I just threw my body at people, but for the most part, when I was throwing my body at people, I was also wrapping up at the same time. I just think it's weird that guys don't wrap up that much. Yeah, they are just throwing shoulders at people. And look, you might absolutely skadoosh someone, but wrap it up. Right, like that. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Okay? B. Hannon says, yeah, they had problems wrapping up Johnson. Right. Although I think it was White. It was White and Irving. I don't think there was a Johnson out there, you know? More comments here. Greg Todd says he's saying it like this on purpose. What, saying wrap it up? Well, he should, DeMeco Ryan, say it on purpose. I know you're talking about me, saying that I'm talking about wrapping it up on purpose, but come on. We're watching a DeMeco Ryan's press conference. We have to create comedy where we can. More from Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans at his Zoom press conference yesterday.
Hey, Meek. To that point as well, like, are you able with the rules in the NFL to work on tackling, or do you just have to preach it? Like, or can you actually practice it?
Yeah, great question, Will. We do work. We work tackling. We put the pad. You get an opportunity to put the pads on once a week, and every time we have the pads on, we're working tackling. We're emphasizing tackling on special teams and also in our defensive drills. We have different tackling stations that we're working, and it's an emphasis as we are in practice. And that one time a week that we do have pads on, it's always emphasized to the guys to make sure we're securing, wrapping the ball carrier and then let him go and let him finish.
All this fucking talk about wrapping up. Basics. You can practice it during the week, but this is just basic shit. And, you talk about the little things for the Texans. That continues to be a problem. Something they talked about fixing all last year. Something they talked about fixing now through 2 weeks. Kugle says, watch, the Texans will have 2+ targeting calls on Sunday now. Well, yeah, I mean, shit, bro. Azeez Al-Shaair's out there. So at the very least, someone might try to target Azeez Al-Shaair, or perhaps Azeez Al-Shaair once again goes after an awkwardly sliding Trevor Lawrence. Puts the shoulder a little bit high. More from DeMeco Ryans at yesterday's Zoom press conference.
DeMeco, good afternoon. Did you
ask the question?
Expect the struggles like this for the offense this early, being that it was new under Nick Caley, or are these struggles far greater than what you expected?
Yeah, for what we're doing offensively, defensively, man, we're not far away. So I don't want to. I'm not in the mode of where, hey, it's doom and gloom. Like we're not far away. We're close. I think we made a lot of strides in this game on yesterday. We did a lot of positive things that we did well. Of course, there are always issues and things that you can correct, but it's not far off, right? We got to make the plays we're supposed to make. Well, we're pressing forward. I mean, we're looking forward to Jacksonville to see how we can clean this thing up and get it moving.
I don't disagree that there was some progress made by the offense in this game. I don't disagree with that, especially early on in this game. First 2 drives before ultimately they shot themselves in the foot and had to settle for a field goal. I liked what I saw. But you got to maintain that for the entirety of a game or close to it. And as the game wore on, rock bottom was 3 plays from the 1-yard line and nothing. B. Hannon says the Texans better win the next 2 games. Greg Todd says Miko's sounding like Coach O. Oh, he's not saying like, oh, well, I got to get the offense going out there. Got to get it out there like some gumbo and some crawfish, string beans, some potatoes. Mm-hmm. It's turning into Sling Blade. More from... do we really want to go through another 13 minutes of a press conference? I'm going to leave that up to you guys. On YouTube at Paul Gallant, on Twitch at Gallant Says, on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, Instagram at Sports Gallant, on X at Gallant Says Pod. Do you want to hear more from DeMeco Ryans in the press conference, or do you want to move on to another segment, a staple segment of the Paul Gallant Show? Sean Martinez says he's at a 7 out of 10 on the panic meter. Well, what if I do this? Does this make you feel better? Does Clay Walker make you feel a little bit better? Or are things currently for this team making it like this?
You make it unbearable. God, unfreaking bearable.
Is it unbearable at this moment in time? Or not? Do you want to hear more DeMeco Ryans, or is this your mindset right now?
Oh, shut up. It's Gallant and Night. Stay put.
Do you want to hear more DeMeco Ryans and potentially something like this along the way in his press conference?
Every interception really has a different story.
Or do you want to keep going? I'm curious. Where you at? How you feeling? It's dead in this chat. Dead. Fine. I guess you want to keep on watching DeMeco Ryans. I kid. I see a lot of people are finally reacting here. Okay. So, well, hang on. Now we got 1 vote for next segment and another vote for keep rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. LIMP. Biscuit is right here. People in the house, put your hands in the air, because if you don't care, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. Jumping for you. Something at this Limp Biscuit mix. So where the fuck you at, bro? Shut the fuck up. And back the fuck up while we fuck this track up. Bro, your hands up. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. Move in, now move out. Hands up, now hands down. Back up, back up. Tell me what you want to do now. Breathe in, now breathe out. Hands up, now hands down. Back up, back up. Tell me what you want to do now. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? Keep rolling, 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 rolling. I mean, no, seriously, do you want me to keep rolling or do we want to move to the next segment? Christian Vela says the new stadium will fix the O-line problems. God wills it. That sounds like something the Texans would try to link, you know? I don't know. Ziploc says I'm here for the music talent. Okay, it sounds like you want more DeMeco Ryans. If we put the trombone under DeMeco Ryans, will it be better? I don't know. This is nothing against DeMeco Ryans. You know, he is just, I think, very guarded generally at these press conferences.
Next, we'll go to Sarge, Landry, and then Cody.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Hey, good afternoon.
One of the positive things that came out of the game last night was that Danielle Hunter recorded his 100th sack. I think he became the 15th player to do that in 130.
I'm out. No offense, Sarge. I'm out. I don't want no positive questions. Everything's bad. They're 0-2. It's bad. So let's move on to another segment. If you are familiar with the Paul Gallant show from back in the day on a little radio station that I no longer work at, you might remember this segment, which we did every single Wednesday. We call it Soft Boys. Soft boys, in a tough sitch. Ime Udoka thinks you're a bitch. In honor of the time that Ime Udoka said to LeBron James to quit your bitching, soft ass boy. Every Wednesday, we talk about who's been soft in the world of sports. Please tell me your nominees, and we'll dive into it, okay? We will dive into it. There's a lot of derangement syndrome in the world these days. I think a lot of people would argue a specific version of derangement syndrome has led to us liberally calling things Nazi, fascist, etc. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about another derangement syndrome that has been a part of our culture for 15 years. We're talking before Trump's presidency. I am, of course, talking about Tom Brady derangement syndrome. Everyone crying about Tom Brady right now is soft. So much of it. Paul, why are they so mad at Tom Brady right now? Well, you might have caught this moment in the midst of the Monday Night Football game after the Texans and Bucs game was down. I actually did not catch it live, but I saw a lot of people complaining about it. Here is Tom Brady sitting in the Raiders coach's box in the middle of a Monday Night Football game. For those who don't know, Tom Brady is part of the Raiders ownership group. So he's actually allowed in there. But people are mad that Tom Brady is a broadcaster and has access to, I guess, valuable information that he could get in pre-broadcast meetings, and that he's also a part owner. They're all flipping their tits about this. And I think everyone who's doing it is, quite honestly, soft, because I don't really see what the big issue is. Tom Brady every single Sunday is working Fox's NFL Sunday broadcast. This is probably the only time that he's going to be able to go to a Raiders game and be on a headset in the coach's box with the Raiders all season. And yet people are mad about this? Why? What is there to be upset about here? A one-time occurrence. How often are the Raiders going to be in prime time? Brady's busy every Sunday the rest of this NFL season. How many primetime games are the Raiders getting? Maybe there's a Thursday night game the rest of the way. Just take a look at the Raiders' schedule. What kind of edge and inside information is Tom Brady going to give, given that the rest of this season, the Raiders, of course, Google does not actually show what day the games are on, but the rest of the way, here is the Raiders' schedule. Sunday, can't make it. 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 Bye week, could make it. Sunday, can't make it. Thursday, could make it. Monday, could make it. 3 primetime games the rest of the way. Sunday, 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 Sunday. Flex game, flex game. What is Tom Brady really bringing to the table when he's sitting in the coach's box with a headset on? Probably not much. And since he's a part owner of the Raiders, we're okay with Jim Irsay's daughter, was it Carly Jean Irsay? Sorry, I forget the name off the top of my head. Being on the sideline with a headset on. That's fine. The Colts are 2-0. She's listening in on what the Colts are doing. But Tom Brady can't sit in the coach's box as a part owner of the Raiders. The one time he can actually go to a game, one of the 3-4 times he can actually go to a game. Didn't look like the headset was down. Didn't look like he was offering anything. Oh, it's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. There are so many conflicts of interest when it comes to the National Football League. So many. We're going to get mad about this one. This is what we're going to get worked up about. NFL media, when the Philadelphia Eagles are running a play and they're literally cheating now on it. Everyone's false starting at the same time. You guys don't have the energy in the offseason to vote this play out of existence. Now you're seeing it. You're probably having some second thoughts about it, but you're concerned about this. This is a story from Albert Breer, Sports Illustrated. Multiple team officials are concerned about Tom Brady's role with Raiders ownership. And I'm seeing all sorts of, like, my columns and outrage takes online. Boomer Esiason said it's utter BS. Marcus Spears said it's abhorrent. Who told him to use that word? James Palmer, my guy. I love James Palmer. Working over at Underdog. Used to cover the Texans for a while. Tom Brady meets with Chip Kelly 2 to 3 times a week to go over film and go through the game plan. And every weekend, Brady is calling a game for Fox, gathering as much information as possible from players and coaches from both teams to be at his best in the broadcast booth. Got it. I love Tom Brady. I think he's working hard at these broadcasts. Is he really gathering as much information as he possibly can from players and coaches for both teams? I have my doubts about that, given that he's the greatest football player that's ever played. I have my doubts about that. But I could be wrong. It's a fair point to raise up. But it just seems like that's all people are doing right now. Getting freaked out about Tom Brady being a part owner and a broadcaster. How dare he? How about get mad about the fucking push? Tom Brady derangement syndrome is the new Patriots derangement syndrome. I mean, are we ever going to get over the fact that Tom Brady used to fuck your team up the ass? Are we ever going to get over that? It doesn't seem like it. I'm sick of this. I am so tired of people bitching and moaning about Tom Brady. All day. Pete Carroll disputed the report for what it's worth. Here's the head coach of the former head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, who I used to do weekly interviews with for like half an hour, talking about this idea that Tom Brady's in the booth. Hang on a second. Is this muted? It is muted.
Film with them. We saw him up in the booth with the headset on. I just was curious your thoughts on that level of participation with Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. We have conversations. I talk to Tom. Chip talks to Tom regularly. I mean, we have a tremendous asset, and so and we all get along well, and we respect each other, and so we just talk, about life and football and whatever it comes, and he has great insight. So we're lucky to have him as an owner.
I used to interview Pete Carroll all the time. Pete would never lie, except for that one time where I asked him about Brian Schottenheimer's future as offensive coordinator, and he said that Brian Schottenheimer would be back the next season, and then he fired him hours later. Why would Pete Carroll lie? He doesn't do that, except for that one time. Just the one time. Just once. The NFL put out a statement saying he didn't violate the rules. He can sit in the coach's booth. He only gets like 3 to 4 opportunities to do it. People are just looking for things to get mad about. And whenever it's Tom Brady that's involved, they get mad about it the same way they used to get mad about the Patriots, the way they get mad now about the Kansas City Chiefs, the way they get mad about President Trump. It's Brady derangement syndrome. Where the fuck was this energy for the tush push this offseason? I seem to remember a lot of energy that led to the Ty Law rule, which was Colts GM Bill Polian, head of the competition committee's little white flag that he waved because his soft, finesse little receivers, it's soft boys after all, couldn't get off a 5-yard jam. So they started enforcing the 5-yard contact rule, which led to the NFL being ruined, in my opinion. Oh, I like it when it's arena football. Fuck you. Fuck you. Patriots derangement syndrome, Tom Brady derangement syndrome. Like, can we stop getting mad at Tom? He's just in the owner's box as a part owner of the team. Why is he allowed to do what he's doing and Carly Jean Ursay, or whatever her name is allowed on the sidelines? Anyway. People are also mad that Tom Brady is getting in bed with the Saudi Arabians. See this? You hear about this? Tom Brady announced that he will be participating in the Fanatics Fall Football Classic in Saudi Arabia this coming March. I wonder how much money he is going to get for this. I would imagine it's a lot. I think some are speculating that it's going to be worth north of $50 million. I mean, I'm sure he lost a lot of money in that, crypto scheme, but Brady's going to be back, and he did a press conference. This is just a funny image, is it not? It's Tom Brady and this dude to his right. Here's another image. It felt like the perfect time for me to hit the field again and get my competitive juices flowing. Yeah, it's going to be good. And I mean, no one's talking about Kevin Hart getting the bag for this. Kevin Hart, I guess, is going to be the announcer. No one's talking about some of the NFL players who are going to go, because the NFL is trying to make flag football a thing. It's going to feature Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Max Crosby, Rob Gronkowski, Sauce Gardner, Myles Garrett, Brock Bowers, Tyreek Hill, Odell Beckham Jr. It's going to be at Kingdom Arena during Riyadh season, whatever the hell that means. Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan is all going to be there. It's going to be on Fox Sports and Tubi. We'll see what Brady does. People are mad at Tom Brady for this, too. But they're not mad about all the other players that are joining. They're not mad at the National Football League. What the fuck? If you're getting north of $50 million, by the way, like, aren't you going to look the other way when it comes to your morals? I know a lot of people are like, I would never take money from the Saudis. Well, what if they actually offered you money? Like, they'd never offer you money. You don't matter. I don't matter. They'd never offer me money. I'd never take $50 million from the Saudis. Every country in the world has something on its track record, has a skeleton in its closet. Saudis? Yeah, not good. A lot of bad. Specific events that all of us remember from our lifetime, etc., etc. among other things. But they're the worst. They're the only people you can't take money from. Your iPhone's from China. They got concentration camps. The material used to make your iPhone comes from slave labor in Africa. I mean, can we at least pretend that we're not hypocritical calling out our Lord and Savior, Tom Brady, because he just wants to, I don't know, make $50 million by playing a flag football tournament in Saudi Arabia? Soft boys. Who has been soft in the world of sports? Josh Allen is going to get a visor, it seems, after his nose got completely janked up during Jets-Bills a couple, when was this? This was on Sunday, a couple of days ago. Did anyone hear Tony Romo talking about this in the midst of the game as Allen ran to the sideline? Romo had a very weird description of this that some are calling soft. Here's Tony Romo.
That back in 2018, the Jets, Josh is coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Something's wrong. This is not okay. He would never do this.
Never.
Everyone was acting like this is like a bad moment. He would never do this. He's not Anthony Richardson. He was bleeding. He's going to wear a visor going forward. He came back into the game not too long later. We're looking at this moment in time, and we're thinking to ourselves, hey! Oh, what's going on? Is he dying? Is he bleeding? I mean, we've seen this a lot. I think it's very annoying that when you look up broken noses football, a lot of soccer injuries come up. But remember this image? Iconic. Captain America himself. Look at this schnoz. It's J.J. Watt. He's bleeding. He leaking everywhere. Why are we getting mad about that? All sorts of broken noses have happened in football history. Look at this poor schlub. Holy shit, this looks brutal. Look at this guy. Is that what you had to do back in the day? Shout out to Space City Multi-Services and Luna Astros. Brian Cushing broke his nose. That's right. Brian Cushing, broken nose. Oh, no, he's just bleeding from his face. He's just, come on, guys, get it right. He's just bleeding. He was bleeding. Why is this zoomed in so much? He was just bleeding from his face. Broken nose, NFL history, blood. I spelled blood wrong. I think Dick Butkus? Did he have that? Men used to be men. Hang on a second. We might need to see whatever this is from. This is Dick Butkus from a movie at some point in time. Need to watch that movie. Soft boys. Who's been soft in the world of sports? I think Andy Reid had a soft explanation for his players wearing all of those free Rashee Rice t-shirts before Chiefs Eagles. Here's what Andy Reid had to say when asked about it. I know these guys love Rashee. They feel for him sitting out. I think it's no more than that. I think those guys, they love the kid. They want him to feel part of it in their own way. I really don't think it's anything more than that. Here, look, it is more than that. It is more than that. I mean, did you not see Andy Reid? Excuse me. Did you not see Rashee Rice in that video where he's speeding? I mean, in case you missed it, it was pretty crazy. Here's the dash cam footage courtesy of WFAA. I mean, look at this shit. They're wearing Free Rashee Rice shirts. So 2 people, like, it's a miracle no one died. And these assholes just got out of the car and fled the scene. No remorse. The judge even said, like, I can't, there didn't really seem to be a lot of remorse from these people. They just got out, they got their bag, and they left it in the middle of the, highway. I mean, absolutely insane. And they're wearing Free Rashee Rice shirts. Like, the guy should be in jail for doing something like that. Some people are saying in the comments section, Joe Burrow is soft. Joe Burrow, because Burrow's had 3 major injuries in only 6 NFL seasons. They're probably saying he's glass too. I hate this. I hate it when people that are in my industry are looking at like an NFL player and are saying to themselves, yeah, that guy's soft. He can't get out there. He's glass. He keeps on getting hurt. You have trouble walking up the stairs, probably. You who are saying that. He has horrible luck, Joe Burrow does. Grade 3 turf toe. They maybe need to jazz up the turf toe injury description. Are Bears players soft? Definitely seems like Ben Johnson's got an uphill battle as far as changing the Bears culture. Here is Ben Johnson at yesterday's press conference talking about some practice habits of his players.
Yeah, I kind of knew that first game that the tight end position wasn't going to be featured as much. I was hopeful that this game we would bounce back a little bit more, both with Cole and Colston. I think Luther's slowly gaining the trust as we go here. We're trying to get him more packages as we're going. The way that we've talked about it as a coaching staff going into this week is we're going to have a lot more competition. I've alluded to it before. Just what these guys look like when the ball's not in their hands, that's a big deal for us. And so there were some plays there yesterday that we weren't quite as pleased with what that looked like on tape. And so we're going to find out this week at practice who wants to practice hard and who wants to be a little bit more involved with the game plan here.
Not a good sign for Ben Johnson to open things up. But hey, I mean, it takes time to change a culture. And I really wonder who he's talking about there, because that is something that we have heard before coming out of the Bears camp. What did Dabo Swinney have to say about people that are now calling for his job after Clemson's loss to Georgia Tech? 2 losses already for Clemson this year. I'm not a fan of Dabo. I'm sure he's going to have a very measured answer here that will not be a rant at all.
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way, because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory, in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built.
What does that mean? I got a long memory there. What does that mean, Dabo? Got a long memory. What, you're going to be a dick to people that doubted you? People should doubt you. Cade Klubnik was billed as someone who's not that good. More from Clemson's head coach.
Built to last, always has been, always will be. And I would just say, if you give up on us if you don't believe in us because we've lost 2 games down to the last straight and we're one, you didn't believe in us anyway, so it don't matter.
You lost to Georgia Tech, Dabo. If you lost 2 games, it's one thing to lose to LSU. But yeah, after a loss to Georgia Tech, people are going to start questioning you. You didn't believe in us anyway. What does that mean? Perhaps some wires are getting crossed with the weird forced religiousness on Clemson's players and Dabo, the head coach here. Dabo, the character from Righteous Gemstones, and Dabo, the football coach, who's good, but egomaniacal. More Dabo.
You wasn't all in anyway. If you're all in, you burn the ships, man. There ain't no exit strategy. Like, you're freaking all in. And hey, listen, I mean, if Clemson's tired of winning, they send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all going to have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach.
Seems like the caffeine started hitting him as he continued to riff up there. Just warming himself up. Open mic. Dabo Swinney at the podium. One more soft boy. Is J.J. McCarthy soft because he just had a child? This is a hilarious post from the Vikings subreddit. And in case you can watch along here on YouTube at Paul Gallant, Twitch at Gallant Says, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, Instagram at Sports Gallant, and on X at Gallant Says Pod. JJ had a baby 3 days before this game. And when your wife gives birth, it results in the man's testosterone dropping by 20 to 30% for the next couple of days if he's present and slowly returns to normal. Do you think this impacted his play yesterday? You don't need more than a fraction of a second off to look like another player. It's hilarious. A lot of excuses are being made for J.J. McCarthy. I did not watch Sunday Night Football. I'm told he looked awful. And that basically outside of 1 quarter, 7 quarters, he has looked pretty lost. He's a rookie quarterback, so some excuses to be made. But it looks like Carson Wentz is going to start for the Vikings this week. But I don't think people should be as out as it seems they are on him right now, you know? Angel Reese says, excuse me, not Angel Reese. Angel Reese is not in the comments section. Sean Martinez says, Angel Reese, soft boy, soft girl. I mean, sitting out the regular season finale, she's clearly trying to pull a power play with the Sky. I'm not making any excuses for her. I think she's very unlikable. I think I would do a very good job of PR for her. I'm unemployed. I could do it. Angel, I can do it. I can help you be a little more likable. You got to be a little more self-deprecating. I could do it. Free agent. I can be your Baghdad Bob. But, you know, throwing teammates under the bus, missing a game because you got suspended for technical fouls and missing a half because you threw teammates under the bus and then skipping out on the last game of the year, does feel like a bit of a power play by her. I don't know if that's soft. I think that's kind of that's a hard girl move. Also hard, just wrapping things up here, soft boys. Sean McVay tore his plantar fascia, is that how you say it, while coaching Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. And coached through the entire game. Rick Hagwood comment, typical arrogant coach on the hot seat. Fire me, ... Fuck you! Yeah, that is kind of the approach from Dabo right there. Thank you so much for tuning into today's live show. You can join me live weekdays at noon on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't already, please like this video, subscribe. On Twitch, at Gallant Says, give me a sub. On X and Twitter, at Gallant Says Pod as well. Instagram at Sports Gallant. Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. You can also give me a follow for clips of the show. On TikTok, at Gallant Says. If you ever have a question, send me an email. gallantsays@gmail.com. Again, gallantsays@gmail.com. It's available in podcast form wherever you get your podcasts. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review me on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Look for the Gallant Says podcast. Every little bit of support helps. One of the things that happens when you get let go in radio is that the radio station doesn't really announce that you're gone. So you kind of have to spread by word of mouth. Tell your friend. Paul got, is it furloughed? Laid off by the radio and is doing his own thing. He needs the help. He needs the support. I want you to help me feed my cat. So let him know whether it's in a chat on YouTube or Twitch somewhere for a competitor or it's just a friend who maybe asks you, hey, what happened to Paulie G? All of it helps. I appreciate any of the people who actually listen to this and say, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do my part. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. Until tomorrow at noon, so long, farewell, and have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. Peace.